started. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Clarkdale Town Council meeting for Tuesday, July 11th, 2023, in the Clark Memorial Clubhouse. Vice Mayor Hunsetter.
Here.
Councilmember O'Neill.
Present.
Councilmember Babbitt Pierce.
Present.
Councilmember Jones is remote. Laura, do you want to acknowledge you're here? Unmute her.
Okay, now can you hear me?
There we go. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm here.
And please note that Mayor Prudhomme Bauer is here. We have a quorum. Let's start off with the first item tonight is general public comment. This is the time for members of the public may give comment of a general nature. No official action may be taken by the council during this period unless it is to direct staff to look into a matter, and public comments are 5 minutes. If you're watching online, I don't see anybody, so I won't give that one. Is there anybody who would like to give public comment? Please come up to the microphone and state your name and whether you're a Clarkdale resident. I think we have one person for public comment. Diane?
Good evening. I should start by saying if I look like I'm crying, it's because I got sunscreen in my eyes.
Okay.
No. Burns like shampoo in your eye. Been wanting to come here for a while, but we've been.
State your name,
Oh,
Diane.
sorry. Diane Schneider, 1930 North Star Drive, Clarkdale.
Thank
Press-
you.
press was-
Welcome.
Yeah. Anyways, been wanting to come here for a while, but not able to because we've been on vacation when there's meetings. But I really want to start by commending the staff, whoever they were, when I called, I think the day after that bad hail rainstorm, because at the intersection of Alamos and Granite Springs, which is in our housing development, had a lot of runoff of dirt, debris. Water no longer collects because that was corrected last year when I came here to talk about the problem. There's 2 areas of land that are used to sort boulders and stones. They work there frequently. It's a lot of loose soil because it creates these clouds of dust. I have pictures of that. They don't water it. And because of the machinery, loosens the soil. So it doesn't take a whole lot of rain for it to wash down. So they came and they cleaned it some, but the workers whom I saw cleaned up the gravel. And I mentioned some other intersections where the wash just makes the intersections dangerous because you can't stop on gravel. So they did a really good job cleaning it up. Actually, a neighbor thought I did it because it was done so well, because I cleaned up that area before. I don't want to do it anymore. It's a lot of heavy work when you're sweeping, can't even sweep it. You're shoveling compacted dirt because when cars run over it, becomes like concrete. So what I'm here to say is that when it rains hard again, all the dirt's going to wash onto Alamos Road because there's a driveway. I know a while back at the vineyards, because they're putting in Grosseto Ranch Road, their trucks were bringing out dirt onto the roundabout on 89A. And because of that, I noticed they sprinkled a lot more, probably like 30 feet of stone. So when the vehicles run over the stone, the dirt gets stopped there and that doesn't travel onto 89A. Well, where I'm talking about in our development, they don't have any stones. They don't have any coiled hay, you know, so it would just stop. I would rather have stones on our road that I could sweep up than the dirt. It just looks bad. And I know the neighbors that live in Granite Springs are not happy when those plumes of dust. And I guess it's going to continue till every house is built in our development. You won't be able to get a hold of our developer unless you have his phone number. I don't have it. His emails are, he doesn't respond to emails.
Okay.
So I think, oh, another thing too, on the same subject of roads, I was over Cottonwood Ranch, which is in Cottonwood, and they got their roads sealed. not from their HOA money, but from Cottonwood. Our roads are getting bad. There's cracks in them, really. I guess what I'm saying, the sealer would help prevent further damage to a road, because once they really get bad, it's more expensive to fix them. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I think we've taken note of that and we'll follow up with you on that. Okay, Diane?
Do we have her phone number?
Yes, I do. I have all of the information. I'll give to Charity. Okay. Anybody else wishing to give public comment? Okay, hearing none, let's move on to the next item on the agenda, which is current events, organizational reports, and our monthly finance report. As you know, all of our current events are reports from council members. Were all submitted electronically and available for view electronically. Organizational reports were also submitted electronically if we had them, but let's go down the list. Cottonwood Area Transit,
No meeting.
no meeting. VVTPO, that's Verde Valley Transportation Planning Organization,
We meet in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay. NACOG,
We did have a meeting and the packet has been submitted. And just a note, there's a new slate of executive officers for the executive board of NACOG, and I was nominated and voted in as a member at large on the executive board. So
cool, that's great. Super. NAMWA,
No meeting is next Friday.
and I heard that Camp Verde is joining the Northern Arizona Municipal Water Users Association. Is that correct?
That's correct, and they will vote whether or not they become a voting member next Friday.
Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Very
wonderful.
cool, yeah.
Yeah. Transportation Policy Advisory Board.
Tomorrow's meeting was canceled and Charity sent around notes today to update everyone.
Yeah, good notes. Thank you. Thank you. Verde Front Leadership Council, we have a meeting on July 19th. It's a strategic planning meeting, so we'll be able to have some reports after that. Great Arizona Organizational meeting, that we haven't had one. Sustaining Flows,
We did have a meeting. I don't have the notes from it yet, but I will share those when I have them.
any highlights that you want to share with all of us?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is about our grant for our water meter project, and we did not get funded for that in the first round, I found out. But hopefully we will get funded in the second round. I think they're gonna push some things forward, and we're kind of optimistic that we might be one of those.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
we
we'll
have
see.
to speak. Virginia, Ruth, me and Lisa are attending their next meeting
Okay.
as they've asked us to come and present.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Yavapai Communities for Young Children.
We are moving from monthly to quarterly meetings and our next meeting has not yet been scheduled.
Okay. Thank you. Finance reports were submitted with the council packet online. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. It looked pretty solid. I think the only concerning thing is because state revenues were flat for the month of May because we've gone to the flat tax. Is how that might impact our revenue picture down the road.
I think we were still waiting on some revenue at the time that this was printed, but yeah, I mean, absolutely, that's gonna affect us.
Okay. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, that's an important kind of marker. Okay, consent agenda. There's 2 items on consent. Would anybody like to pull one of the items? I'd like to pull item B because I will be recusing myself for that, so I'll have you take over on that. So, any comments on item A, which is approval of minutes? Yes,
I sent a minor correction to Charity and I just want to
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, so we had a small change. Okay. Great. If there's nothing else, please, I'll take a motion on item A on consent.
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve consent agenda item A as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Babbitt Pierce and seconded by Councilmember O'Neill to approve consent agenda item A, approval of minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. I'm going to recuse myself. Laura, are you recusing yourself?
Yes, I'm recusing myself.
Please note that 2 members of council will be recusing themselves for item B, which is the Made in Clarkdale LLC facility use agreement.
All right, up for consideration is Made in Parkdale LLC 2023-2024 facility use agreement. Do I hear a motion for that?
Madam Vice Mayor, I move that we approve the Made in Clarkdale LLC 2023-2024 facility use agreement as presented.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
None opposed, motion carries.
Please note that both myself and Councilmember Jones are back in chambers. Okay,
Welcome back.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, new business. First item on new business is Highway User Revenue Fund Exchange Project, Phase 2 Broadway. And I believe Ruth Mayday is presenting this one.
Yes, let's see. Perfect. So this evening, we're going to walk through the current status of this project. As you know, this is phase 2 of improvements and enhancements to Broadway. This project was started with the exact same program with HERF exchange funds a number of years ago. We're receiving additional funding, so we're going to roll out phase 2. Next, please. So this map shows you the phase 2 project limits. It starts just at the edge of the RV park at Rain Spirit RV Park near I forget the name of that road.
East
Peace
Bath.
Park.
Right.
Peace Path or-
Yes, that's the one. Peace Garden, and then it goes to the town boundaries. You can see with Cottonwood. So it's about 3/4 of a mile stretch of Broadway that we'll be working on. Okay, next. So this is how the project funding is shaking out. The town of Clarkdale will be funding $95,000 for design. That's pretty much complete. We received 100% plans late last week. HERF exchange funds will account for $664,788. And then the local match of $225,000 also from the town will help fund this project. So right now, the total funding is $984,788. We can go to the next one. So you can see on this side is the side that's already had the work done. That's right at Peace Garden Path. And then you can see the other side. This is where we're going to be doing work. Basically, it's going to be milled, which means they're going to pull it all up, grind it up, and relay it. And then there will be some striping. There will also be bike lanes and sidewalks added and some other enhancements along the way. So this is a typical cross section for the road. We have 11-foot proposed travel lanes, 5-foot bike lanes on both sides, and then a 5-foot sidewalk. And drainage will be incorporated largely in the gutter, the curb and gutter that you see on each side. So that's basically what the construction will look like. There are some variations in grading and underlayment. Excuse me, but with respect to bike lanes and sidewalks, that's where they will be, and that's how wide they will be. Next one. So this section of Broadway should look familiar because we did some emergency work there because of the drainage and the erosion along that section. It's quite steep. So this project will also include a retaining wall along where you see the heavy treed areas. That's where the steepest sections are. So those will have block walls installed, concrete sidewalks and railings so people don't fall into the wash. And if we're going to have bike lanes, you know, we don't want families with kids out there and have some poor kid fall into a wash. So we'll be adding those. There's a couple of other spots we've identified and the engineer will be adding the walls and railings to those areas as well. And that is largely it. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. We've submitted paperwork. The town engineer has submitted the paperwork. We received confirmation from NACOG today that everything appears to be complete, that they didn't have any real questions. So they will be forwarding this on down to ADOT, and we will be getting an IGA, an intergovernmental agreement with ADOT for managing this project.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Mayor. My question is, okay, there's going to be sidewalks on both sides, but on this end of Broadway, there's only sidewalks on one side.
side,
Right. Oh, the side, what, the,
bike lanes both sides.
okay, all right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Just for everybody to know, this is just an update. There's no discussion or decisions being made today on this. This is just an update to council. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Oh, yeah, sure, Laura, and then Vice Mayor. Yes.
I've been asked about the materials that we use to create that sidewalk because I think it's asphalt and which people are finding hot for particularly their dogs.
Mhm.
Is that the same material that we'll use on the new section?
Yes, it'll be a combination of both. Those areas where the block wall will be concrete, and then the areas in between will be asphalt.
Okay. And we're using that material because,
Expense mostly and maintenance.
okay, thanks.
Okay. Any other questions, Laura?
No, that was it.
Okay, Vice Mayor Huntsman. Yeah.
I travel that road quite a bit and I'm glad that we're going to be doing this. I think it'll help preserve the sides of the roads too. Any indication from Cottonwood? Are they going to then pick it up at that point and continue it on, or is there plans in their future?
Yes, as a matter of fact, the Parks and Rec manager, Joni Westcott, has been in conversations with Cottonwood about picking up the design from where we're stopping and continuing it on. They're very much interested in continuing the bike path and the sidewalk. So I look for them to be doing some work there.
I think as we heard, there's a lot of traffic that comes from Old Town up our
Right.
way, and okay, good to hear.
So they're definitely taking a look at it, and they've actually been very helpful in the design process.
Great.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah, so it will look like it's almost seamless from one to the other,
Exactly.
like it should be, hopefully.
We hope.
Any other questions for Ruth? I mean, when is our estimated getting started on this?
That depends on ADOT. Sometimes we can get the IGAs back quickly and get things initiated and keep it moving. Sometimes it just takes them a while to get these things pushed out to us. But as soon as we get it, we'll be bringing it to council. So
Okay.
sooner rather than later.
And our timeline shows early this spring,
Okay.
but I think Bruce's point is exactly right. Sometimes they just take a lot longer to get through.
In our fantasy life spring, reality.
Reality is spring.
This
Okay.
fall.
I mean, this is important to get this road done. It is a major thoroughfare.
Correct.
And it's been a concern, I think, for a long time, sort of the safety issues along that road for people walking and bicycling. So I'm happy that it's going to get that section done. I know the cyclists, when they did their presentation, 2 or 3 months ago, you know, they're excited that there will be a bike lane for them for safety issues. Yeah. Anything else? I appreciate getting an update on this road.
No problem.
Thank you.
Let's move on to the next item on the agenda, which is item 6B, EPA lead and copper rule revision bid consideration. Again, Ruth.
So this time, before you, you have the bid for the EPA lead and copper rule revision. This is a rule that's coming down from the feds that requires us to do quite a bit of work on tracking what pipes are made of what. There are issues in many communities, especially many older communities, with pipes that are lead or have a high lead content. The purpose of this program is to figure out where those are and whether they're on the town side of the meter or the property owner's side of the meter. A lot of work is still being done on this program at the federal level, but we've decided to go ahead and pursue this so that we can get things in order and get underway sooner rather than later. So the work that's involved in this is quite detailed and quite a lot of work. There's quite a bit of reporting. So the town staff issued an RFP so that we could get interested companies to submit proposals for managing this project. We did receive one qualified bid on time. We received one that was late, so we could not consider that one. But before you, you should have the bid for Hazen and Sawyer or in the amount of $201,010 for the lead and copper rule software and to manage this process.
And this is the item that we have the upcoming meeting with Senator Sinema's office, just to discuss, once we identify all this, what is the next step and whose financial responsibility will that be?
Especially on,
Private property.
I think one of the questions you've brought up several times on this, is it going to be just on the town side? Or do we have some responsibility for on the homeowner side? That's been unclear in the regulation. Is that my understanding?
Yes. Yes, it has been.
And that's one of the things that we're trying to get some clarity from EPA.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I would just like to thank everyone who has been involved in this process and making sure that we are getting to this ahead of time, knowing how old our infrastructure is and how long this could really take to be in compliance. I'm just really glad that we're on top of it. So thank you.
Thank you. I'd love to take credit for all the work, but really Virginia has pushed this project along and done a lot of legwork on it. So
Thank you, Virginia.
Thank you, Virginia. Do we have any ideas that basically Upper and Lower Clarkdale, Patio Park, Centerville?
we pretty much have to test everything. That's my
Okay.
understanding.
Okay,
So everybody gets kits, everybody has to test, and then we have to map everything.
okay.
So
At the
So we have no real feel for how far out it goes.
just every residential connection in the town, we'd have to test.
Okay.
So
And then set up
I,
a database to
Yeah.
track all of that.
but I
like
think
a monument.
we anticipate seeing, if there are any, most of them in the historic part of town rather than the newer areas. They use PVC now.
Okay.
So
And do we test the property, the Yavapai Apache community lines too? Yeah,
if they're connected to our water, yes.
yeah.
Monumental project.
But this bid came in $100,000 under budget, so
We're pretty happy about that.
That's nice.
I'll just make a comment. That gave me cause for pause. And so I looked at them and they look like an outstanding company. I feel like we're really lucky to have landed them with their bid.
What was it, you said this was the Cadillac? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really, it's a great program. It's been
Great reviews.
really make things easy for staff.
And what's interesting, I like the fact that we're being ahead of time on this, or, proactive. Because so many communities, I know when Susan brings this up at just about every regional or county meeting we have, everybody just sort of goes, what are you talking about? So, people, it's not on a lot of communities' radars, different
No.
municipalities' radars. So I feel happy. So we're getting a good product, we're getting in early, and maybe the costs are reflective of that. Laura, do you have anything to add?
I do, I guess I have a question. So if what we do is this first phase is an assessment of the infrastructure to see if there's lead and copper,
Correct.
and then do we know if there is, what the remediation to that is?
So, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go right ahead.
I was gonna say, so if it's on the town side, we're responsible for it. We're not sure about if it's on the other side of the meter, if it's the residence pipes.
Uh-huh.
That's the biggest unclear area, is how that's going to be remediated. And we haven't really even thought about remediation yet. We're just trying to wrap our heads around getting all of the data collected and inventoried and in a database.
And there is
Okay.
some process in the treatment that can help reduce it. And so that might be kind of early on remediation, but if it really comes down to replacement of pipes, that's the piece that we're meeting with Senator Sinema's staff about.
Because that's very costly.
Mm.
That's, I mean,
Yes.
that's huge. And we're just one of many, all communities that are going to be facing this. So how is the federal government going to assist us on getting, doing what's needed to deal with lead and copper pipes?
It's the Excavators Full Employment Act.
Oh, you mean that's the new workforce? That's where we need to go into, is excavation.
Hey,
Okay.
let's go buy some
Oh, good. Yeah,
backhoes
okay.
and get busy.
Mayor, will you take a motion?
I sure will.
I move that we accept and award the Hazen and Sawyer bid for EPA lead and copper rule revision compliance in the amount of $201,010.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Vice Mayor Hunsetter and seconded by Councilmember Babbitt Pierce to accept and award the bid, the Hazen and Sawyer bid for EPA lead and copper revision compliance in the amount of $201,000 and $201,010. Yeah, you got it. $201,010. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carried. Okay, item 6C, infrastructure improvement plan, development fee study bid consideration. Ruth, you're up for number 3.
So before you have the bid for the infrastructure improvement plan and the development impact fee study. Typically, communities have these in place already. The legislature passed quite a bit of regulation back in about 2011 with respect to development impact fees, how they were assessed, what you could use them for, and all of those kinds of things. In order to charge development impact fees, now you have to have an infrastructure improvement plan to demonstrate need. And so this is the first step in that process, is to get that infrastructure improvement plan done. We do have some water and wastewater studies, but they're quite old. And so it's time for us to take a good hard look at where we are now, what our capacities are, what future growth might look like, and what future development impacts might be. When we issued the bid package, we held a meeting, a pre-bid meeting with a couple of the interested parties in bidding. We had quite a bit of discussion about some of the language that was in the bid packet that was unclear. We did receive one bid timely, and staff is of the opinion that it's in the town's best interest to reject all bids and go back out so we can clarify some of the issues that were raised.
Okay, okay. Questions? Laura? Yes, Marnie.
I'd just like to say thank you for not getting us into a situation where we're moving forward with a bid that's not exactly quite what we need, and that we're taking the time to go slowly and make sure we have really what we need in writing. And so I'm in support of rejecting the bids.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Yeah, this is an important plan that we need for a number of reasons, not just for a growth and development, but we need to have a better understanding of our whole water, wastewater system and our infrastructure. So, and as you said, it is, the reports we have, our plans we have are quite old and desperately need to be updated. So we do want to make sure that we're clear about what we're asking for, so we get the information that's most important for us. Yes, well, Lisa.
Thank you. You just reminded me of something. Do we have somebody else looking at the bid package so we can make it more clear next time?
Yeah, we've gone back to the language. We know where the issues are and how we need to clarify it. So I'm not concerned about getting it right the second time.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. If there's no more questions, Laura, do you have any questions?
No, I guess I just want to ditto on what Marnie said about making sure we get this right. And I appreciate the pause versus just moving ahead.
Yeah, very much. Okay. With that, if there's no other questions, I'll take a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move that we reject all submitted bids for the infrastructure improvement plan and development fee study, allowing for a request for qualifications to be reissued with possible revisions.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Babbitt Pierce, seconded by Vice Mayor Hunsetter to reject all submitted bids for the infrastructure improvement plan and development fee study, allowing a request for qualifications to be reissued with possible revisions. Are we clear? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carried. Thank you. Thanks, Ruth. 3 up, 3 down. Are there any future agenda items? I think Charity has put at our seats the what looks to be the items for our next meeting on July 25th. Quite a few things. Okay, so it looks like, yeah.
Madam Mayor, I'm not anxious for this to be on the next agenda, and I would like it to just be a discussion item, and that is code enforcement.
So you would like a discussion only on code enforcement of the codes we have around enforcing the different ordinances we have?
Correct.
Anyone in particular?
Well, right now, water is the gorilla. But I have had a neighbor complain that why should I license my dog? Why should I buy a chicken permit and things like that?
Okay.
So just, I'd like to talk about it and get some
I don't,
discussion.
So I'm imagining more of a presentation about how it works currently. Is that what you're asking for, or?
My understanding is the way it works currently. Yes, that would be good, because maybe my understanding is not correct. My understanding is that it is complaint driven. And many people don't want to complain, but they complain to us. So yeah, a presentation on how it's handled now
okay.
and what we can do to improve that perhaps. That would, thank you for clarifying for me.
Yeah.
Make my sound smarter.
I have a chicken permit.
Okay, so we've got it on the list. Think about the time frame for putting all that together and bringing it back for a discussion only at before the council. Okay, that would be good. I think, Lisa, you're bringing up a good point, because it's it's uncertain for many people how that occurs. So, yeah, I think it's a good.
And why do we make ordinances? So,
Well, that's, yeah. Yeah, seriously. Okay, so we have one item that's come up for discussion in the near future. And we have several items for our next meeting. Anything else for future agenda items? Okay, I'm hearing and seeing none. So let's move to item 8, which is adjournment. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, and is there a second?
A second.
It's been moved by Vice Mayor Hunsetter and second by Councilmember Babette Pierce to adjourn this meeting at 6:35 PM. Thank you all. Laura, have a good rest of your vacation.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you. See you
Motion-
guys soon.
Okay, thanks.